안녕하세요, Claudio. Hey guys, Cloud here. Welcome back to another lesson recap. As usual, you should already be familiar with the grammar and vocab of this lesson. Alright, let's get into it. This lesson has 3 parts. Part 1. Ida in the present tense. Conjugating ida in the present tense is a bit strange. It becomes ia or just ya in the low informal conjugation. So, for example, 너는 나쁜 사람이야. You're a bad person. Or 큰 문제야. It's a big problem. We all have that one friend that says that for everything, no matter how small it is, like forgetting to tweet something or liking someone's tweet. My response to this would be, 큰 문제 아니야. It's not a big problem. Now let's look at the high informal form, conjugation of 이다. 이것은 사과예요. Or 저는 선생님이에요. Also, let's look at 아니다 as well. 저는 학생이 아니에요. I'm not a student. This here is actually something that's confused by Koreans and Korean learners as well. Actually, I had to check how to spell it just now just to make sure. Sometimes you'll see 아니에요 and sometimes you'll see 아니에요. It's not really a big deal regardless of which one you write. They both sound the same and everyone will know exactly what you mean. But I think the first one is the correct spelling. Alright, formal high conjugation. 이다 conjugates to 입니다 and 아니다 conjugates to 아닙니다. So that's why at the beginning of every video you'll hear me saying Cloud입니다, I'm Cloud. Well, that's because I'm using the formal high conjugation. Well, as for 아니다, 고등학교 아닙니다. It's not a high school. Now let's look at the past tense and let's compare the different conjugations. So it's all the same sentence but with different conjugations. 나는 학생이었어. 저는 학생이었어요. 저는 학생이었습니다. And 나는 학생이었다. And for 아니다, well, look a little like this. 나는 학생이 아니었어. 저는 학생이 아니었어요. 저는 학생이 아니었습니다. And 나는 학생이 아니었다. Okay, my favorite part of this lesson. We talked previously about 겠다 and how it's used to make the future tense, and today we're going to look at another way to do that. So let's just take a verb like 가다. Let's take its verb stem and add 리을 or and then let's add 곧, so it becomes 갈 곧, and then let's add 이다, which we just learned. So 갈 것이다, 갈 것이다. Now we conjugate it just like we just learned, depending on which formality we want to use. Also note that sometimes the 시읒 in 곧 is often dropped, so you'll see both used interchangeably. So let's look at an example. The low informal versus the high informal. 나는 한국어를 공부할 거예요. Or 나는 한국어를 공부할 거야 for the low informal, and 저는 한국어를 공부할 거예요 for the high informal. For the high formal and plain form, it would look something like this. 저는 한국어를 공부할 것입니다, and 나는 한국어를 공부할 것이다. And if you still don't know what the sentence means, it means I'm going to study Korean. This future tense is actually used everywhere. You can hear it literally everywhere. People talking, songs, dramas, movies, everywhere. One example that I can give you is one of the very few K-pop songs I've ever listened to. It's called 가시나 by Sonmi. There's a line in it that goes something like this. 고개 숙일 거야, which means you'll lower your head. This is just another use of the future tense that I wanted to show you. The future tense that we just learned. Enough on that for now. We summarized the gist of it, but just be sure to check the lesson online for all the nuances and some more detailed explanation. Alright, part 3. Using ida and 되다 for the future tense. When talking about something in the future, ida and 되다 can be quite similar, so let's try to differentiate them. Let's look at this sentence here. 저는 선생님이 될 것입니다, and 저는 선생님일 거예요. Now these would translate like this. I will become a teacher for 되다, and I will be a teacher for 이다. Now there's no real difference between the two sentences. But if we look at the past tense though, we see that one of them is became and one of them is was. Now I became a teacher and I was a teacher. There's a difference between be and become here. The difference is there, and it really depends on what you want to convey. I know that can sound confusing, but you just have to think about what is it that you want to say. Now, if you're not confused, let's look at one more thing that could possibly confuse you. If you are confused, you don't have to worry about what I'm about to say. ida can sometimes create ambiguity in the future. So for example, 그 사람이 선생님일 거예요 can be translated to that person is probably or most likely a teacher. So how do I know if it's a statement about the future or a guess? Well, in Korean, context is king. 90% of Korean is probably just context. By constant exposure to Korean, you'll develop a feel for it. Right now, you don't have to worry too much about distinguishing between them. Just focus on the conjugation and making sentences. Speaking of making sentences, I've been slowly reducing the English translations that appear on screen since all of the vocab and grammar that I show has already been taught, and I really want to treat this as a review more than a condensed explanation. I end up saying the English translation most of the time anyways, but I wanted to see what you guys think. So should I keep adding the English sentences or should I gradually move away from them? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below and I'll do whatever you guys want to do. That's it for this lesson. Be sure to check out the other cool videos on this channel that'll also help you with this lesson. Links are in the description below.